We are living through a huge shift. We are moving from what is being called muscle economy to an ideas economy. The problem is our software. It hasn't been updated. We are still running on the rural mindset, a mindset where we see women as reproducers instead of. Imagine one of the most powerful engines ever built, and then imagine someone is deliberately shutting down half of its cylinders. That engine, that is our global economy right now. And the missing power, it has a price tag 342 trillion. Now, where does this number come from? The United Nations estimates that if we close the gender gap globally, if women participate in the global economy as much as men do, by 2050, the global economy would boost by this amount. Christine Lagarde, president of the European Central Bank, put it bluntly at the launch of the World Bank report. She calls gender inequality, and I quote, economically stupid.
That gender inequality is not only unjust, but it is stupid from an economic point of view.
And then she refines the whole argument into one line. If you have less labor force, you have less growth. The report says that none of the 190 countries grants women full legal equality. Women enjoy only 2/3 of legal rights what men enjoy. And even where equal laws exist, enforcement runs at barely 50%. The safety laws, the ones that protect women from violence, child marriage, and harassment, are enforced only 20% of the time. That is the worst performance of any category in any country. The World Bank measures women's economic rights through three lenses. First, legal framework. What does it mean? It means, do equal laws exist, at least on paper? Globally, the score is just 67 out of 100. Second, supportive framework. To make those laws work, policies, institutions, systems, are these entities in place or not? Score 47. Third, enforcement perceptions. Are those laws actually enforced in practice? Score 53. Think of these lenses as law, system, and reality. Lagarde also pointed out that
Despite this pushback, the net trend towards more equality is still positive.
which is good. In the last 2 years, 68 countries passed around 113 legal reforms. The greatest progress came in entrepreneurship and safety. The data is clear. The direction is right, but the speed is far too slow. And here is the scary part. If we don't speed up and continue the speed at which we are currently addressing this problem, according to the World Economic Forum, it will take another 123 years to fix this. That's a whole century plus another generation. The depressing thought is that our great-granddaughter might still be dealing with this. We are living through a huge shift. We are moving from what is being called muscle economy, where physical strength was the most important thing, to an ideas economy. In the past, muscles were required to plow the fields or to work in heavy factories. But today, the new economy cares about brain efficiency, pattern recognition, emotional intelligence. So where is the problem? Why is the engine still broken? The problem is our software. It hasn't been updated. We are still running on the rural mindset, a mindset where we see women as reproducers instead of producers. Now, before we go further, I want to be clear. We are not here to talk about politics. We are not here to fight men versus women. We are here to talk about facts. Pure rational economics. In this video series, we are going to unpack the geopolitics of human capital. We will look at why India produces brilliant female scientists but struggles to keep them, why Russia has more female engineers than the US, why the rich countries like Germany, Japan are actually failing their women. We will debunk the biggest biological myths used to keep women out of power. And most importantly, I want to speak directly to the girls, and women watching this. If you were told that you were not built for this ideas economy, it's a lie. A lie about your own biology. And I am going to use data from credible research to prove that they are wrong. Before we look at the world map, we have to look inside our own minds. The gap between women studying and women working isn't just about discrimination from the outside. It's also about internal narrative conditioning. I know that sounds complicated. So let's break it down. It basically means what stories have we been brainwashed with? The invisible beliefs installed in us before we were old enough to question them. About what a woman is worth, the bedtime stories, the cartoons, the casual comments at the dinner table that slowly and lovingly taught girls to dream in a certain way. The ones that did not feel like brainwashing because they felt like love. And this wasn't random. Great philosophers noticed it long before. The French philosopher Simone de Beauvoir wrote what might be the most important sentence in the entire feminist thought. In 1949, she argued that femininity is not biology, it is the conditioning. She said, and I quote, "One is not born but rather becomes a woman." Her insight, written over 7 decades ago, is the philosophical backbone of everything we are about to discuss. Recently, a fascinating study is led by a female researcher who used a technique called word embedding. Think of this tech as a supercomputer that can read millions of books and movie scripts in seconds to find the hidden patterns. Do you know what she found? A repeated theme she called the Cinderella Complex. In stories over the centuries, men are described with words like adventure, problem solving, agency, autonomy. It feels like they make things happen. But women, their stories rely on those men. Women wait for things happen to them. This implies that for hundreds of years, our culture has shaped women's minds to have a rural mindset. These stories taught them that survival depends on their looks, their dependence, and not on their skills. These stories silently tells that the best investment is a good husband. A husband, by the way, is a volatile asset. Ask any divorce lawyer. This artificial conditioning leads to a terrible economic distortion. It teaches young women to pour their energy into depreciating assets like appearance to secure a partner, the volatile asset. Meanwhile, the real appreciating assets like skills, education, networks, the ones that eventually grow in value over time, get starved of investment. Not because women chose badly, but because the story was written badly. In the new economy of ideas, this Cinderella conditioning isn't just old fashioned, it is economically dangerous. In the next videos, we begin our journey around the world. We will travel through countries like South Africa, Brazil, Mexico, China, Japan, and you will see why the data tells a story that most people don't expect. The modern West doesn't always lead the way. The stories are in our heads. The real rational data is in the world. Let's go find it.